Fernando was both below and above the Mendoza line in what was his grittiest performance to date as the starting quarterback at Indiana. I went back and watched this tape because when I watched on Saturday from the couch, kids running around, chaos around here, but was dialed into that game. Obviously, it was the best game of Saturday. And the performance at Penn State, Indiana had never won at Happy Valley. And yeah, Penn State had lost 5 in a row, but it's still a team that's got like 8 or 9 guys who are going to be drafted in the NFL. And they just came off a game where it was like a 3-point game going to half with Ohio State while they wound up losing and Ohio State pulls away. There's some confidence there. There's respect. There's pride. There's NFL scouts lurking around. General managers there. Jets sent a contingent. Several general managers. A lot of NFL teams. That was all the report. So you got to put your best tape out there. And you got to catch some eyes of some NFL decision makers. Okay? And that's what Penn State did. Showed up and played arguably the best game that Penn State played all season long. The first takeaway for me from Mendoza is, and we've known this going back to Cal in the summer, tape session that we did. And let's give a history because we joke around on this show because I'm like, I was ahead of everybody in publicly on Mendoza. Pete Thamel's talking about it on his podcast and reaching out to me like, you're right. I'm talking to GMs and maybe he is a first rounder, but no one else is talking about it. And this is going to be an exciting year for all these quarterbacks, but Mendoza's one that you can't forget. The truth of the matter is I didn't want to do a full breakout show on Fernando Mendoza. I didn't even know that we had to do a full breakout show on John Mateer. And so Mensch gets in the ear of Dan Comer and Connor Nevins.
Dan got in my ear first. In fairness, okay. Dan got in my ear first.
Thank you.
We got to give Dan credit.
We're just airing out the laundry right now.
Yep.
So whatever happened behind the scenes, and then I get this group text saying, hey, Todd, will you reconsider? I know we're doing Arch and we're doing Nussmeier and we're doing Klubnik and we're doing Aller. We're doing all these other guys, right?
Yeah.
Let's do Mateer Mendoza. And I'm like, listen, I'll do it. I love looking at all these guys, but is there going to be enough? Like, do people care about the Cal transfer to Indiana? And they're like, let's do it. I'm like, all right, let's do it. It's July. Who cares? And then I watched the tape. I watched the tape on Mendoza, and I'm like, oh, I like this guy. He's not there yet, but there's first, like, he's 6'5", he's 220, he's mobile, he's got a smooth stroke, he's got a live arm. He's somewhere between a Justin Herbert and a Daniel Jones.
Interesting. That's a big gap. I like it, though.
It is a big gap, and it was a huge gap if you look at their respective first handful of years in the NFL. I'm not saying the gap has closed that much, but it has closed considering what Daniel Jones is doing with a better supporting cast and all the resources that he has and the life and game experience that he has coming off the Giants debacle, right? And his health. And I railed on Daniel Jones throughout the process, but he's somewhere. I mentioned those guys because they're tall, long levered, mobile, strong arm guys who there are some like holes in their game, but not in their physical traits, right? Okay.
Right.
So I watched this game and I talked to you about the Iowa game. And even though it was tight and it was sloppy, I learned more from that game than I did the Illinois game where they just blew him out and he was 21 of 23, as you reminded me the other day.
Agree.
I learned more from this game than I have any other game that he's played at Indiana. And I see growth in his game. And I'm going to go through some plays here. I promise this will be my longest truth of the day and we'll get it going. I want to go through some plays. Early on, I'm going to go progressively throughout. There was a play, and I'm not going to give you maybe a couple time codes, but I'm not going to bore. Early in the game, first read, not open. Slight panic, fast clock, but rolls to his right, drills a sideline throw on the run. Really impressive. Another play versus cover one. It's a play action. Cover one means man across with a free safety in the middle. Play action, he looks the free safety off to his right, NFL stuff. Gets Becker, Charlie Becker, who emerged out of nowhere, 7 catches all season long, has 7 in this single game because Elijah Surratt, the NFL draft prospect at wide receiver, is out of the game. Another big target, 6'4", I believe, 210-pound Becker comes out of nowhere. But he gets Becker off of a switch release to the left side, right? Open in the middle of the field, drills it. Okay? Oh, no. What? No, Becker got a step down the field. Mendoza almost sidearm slings it to him. It was a chunk play. Great design versus man free, but also great execution. Then there's that touchdown run, minute 50 left in the first quarter. His mobility in this game showed up in multiple ways. The first way was designed runs. The second way was scrambling off of dropbacks for positive yards when what he wanted coverage-wise and receivers being open was not there. And the third way was extending plays, and he did that on several occasions. So you saw the mobility and the decisiveness. Exciting to see him as an evaluator in this regard, because he doesn't look like he's grinding. He's just kind of a smooth, long, those long strides. All of a sudden, he's picking up 15, 20 yards, okay? It's frightening for defensive coordinators who are fixing to try to deal with this guy during the next 2 months of the college football season, regular season, Big Ten championship, and college football playoff. So keep that in mind. Now, here's the start of what I still believe is a glaring flaw in his game.
Okay.
It's the most important thing I'm going to share with you. Because and this is why I started this whole thing on Mendoza with the genesis of why and sometimes, unfortunately, I get, because of my history and whatever, if I say it on the show, even though you and I are agreeing, sometimes a family will pick it up and we have a relationship and I've worked with him and all that. So a lot of people were looking at me like, well, McShay's saying that in the preseason about Mendoza. We were on him earliest.
Mm-hmm.
So why isn't McShay racing to the podium right now to hand it over the number one pick to Mendoza? Has he cooled on him? Does he not like? No. This guy's unbelievably talented. Find me another 6'5", 220-plus quarterback with this kind of toughness, this kind of efficiency, with this kind of energy on his ball, with this kind of mobility. There isn't one, and there won't be one in the 2026 draft, okay? But why can't I fully go in on this guy? Here's an example of a play. A bit panicked in the pocket. First read's not there. Eyes drop. There's this quarter count of panic that I see in his game. This is the first time in this game that I saw it. But in this case, he turns a negative into a positive because of his mobility. He takes off and picks up a handful of yards, okay? Then we keep going. There's another positive. Perfectly placed fade route to Omar Cooper, who's been sensational. Number 3, Omar Cooper Jr. Perfectly placed, fade into the left corner of the end zone, drop. And we'll come back to the end of the game and see how we made up for it, right? But
yeah, in a big way.
But it was an important play in the game. Beautiful ball, drops it in. They don't get the score because of the drop, but they kick a field goal, but it's kind of a 4-point lost opportunity there. Nothing to do with Mendoza, okay? Then we go down. This is the 8th play that I jotted down in my notes. He got sacked in this. Absolutely annihilated and deserved it. Sometimes quarterbacks don't deserve the punishment they get. This time he did. It did go to show some of the big hits that this guy took, like one of the first snaps in the game, and then this one, and then a couple others. His toughness is not something to be overlooked. So I'm going to focus on some negatives, but I want you to hear all the positives that this guy's going to be a top 10 pick. Let's book it down right now. Fernando Mendoza is going to be a top 10 pick. There's going to be a lack of quarterbacks. There's going to be teams starting with like the Saints, the Raiders, and several others picking in the top 10 that need a quarterback. They're going to see all these traits like I see in him, all the positives, NFL stuff, NFL size, NFL modern day mobility, NFL arm. But there's room for growth in his game, okay? And on this sack, when he was annihilated, he held onto the ball too long, didn't feel backside pressure. In this case, either hit the crosser earlier or throw the ball to the first guy in the stands that you can see. Don't take that sack. Couple plays later, his eyes fucking drop again, man. 9:40, third quarter. Initial read isn't there. And this is the trend that's starting to scare me.
This is my problem. This has been my problem. But yeah, go ahead.
It's correctable, Steve.
Agree. I agree with everything.
But I'm not seeing correction this year. So you start to look and you say, well, he's got another year in college. Maybe is it worth coming back and then being a part of a class with Dante Moore and Lenoris Sellers and with maybe Ty Simpson, whether he's here or next year, this year or next year, with Julian Sayin, with Arch Manning. Like that class is going to be out of control with talent.
Agree.
But his eyes drop again. 9:40, third quarter. Initial read isn't there. Panic. Gets himself into a mess. Eventually throws the ball away. Okay. Then you fast forward to 11:22 in the fourth quarter. These are the moments that scare me. I wrote, know the game situation. This is the interception.
Yep.
It's the same stuff. It's that quarter count of panic, the eyes dropping, and then the worst of it is when that happens and it's followed by a decision. I want you to look this play up, Mensch. 11:22 fourth quarter. I don't care if it's maybe at the end of the show while I'm talking on something else. This past game, 11:22 fourth quarter. It's his interception. Watch on the tight copy. First of all, you got to know the game situation. Fourth quarter, leading by 3 points. Can't make this throw. Can't make this decision. Throw an interception.
Nope.
If you go back and watch this throw, I swear to you, his eyes are dropping again. And it's play action, and it's rolling out, and it's his eyes down, and then it's his eyes over here. And then last second, he sees a receiver flashing.
Yep.
Flashes. And yep, got him. I get this big arm. But he doesn't see the safety or the corner behind it.
Undercut it, yeah.
Who undercut the throw. So these are the things. Now we're trailing by 4, 24-20, 6:27, makes a nice throw, but then gets sacked from behind a couple plays later, drive stalls. Then we get to the final drive. So we get all those positives, but some alarming negatives that don't overshadow.
That sack scared me too, by the way. That sack was concerning to me too.
From behind. Because the eyes
we were holding on the ball too long, and that had to get out.
These are not isolated things. They're all a trend based on the same stuff I'm talking about. This quarter count of panic, trying to do too much, holding on to the ball too long, eyes dropping. They're all in this little bubble, right? But then you get to the final drive, and this is why I do love him. Not just those physical traits we talk about. This guy's taking a beating. His team is down. The season's on the line. Indiana never wins in Happy Valley, literally. Rips the seam route on the first throw of that drive to Cooper. On time, drills it. Let's go. This is my drive. I'm in command. Follow suit. Next one, out route to wide receiver 7. Drills it complete. Next throw, he overshoots Cooper. Light pressure in his face. Didn't affect the throw. Crowd's going crazy, though. You're watching on that tight copy, and it's going up and down. Like the scene is wild. There's pressure building down. He's made 2 great throws. Throws this one a little bit. How does he respond? Because Happy Valley with 107,000 plus is going crazy. All that pressure's on him. You know how he responds? Incredible left rail placement to Becker. Awesome catch, but doesn't get a chance to make that awesome catch without a perfectly placed ball. And then another from the 7-yard line. I want you to understand. I'll describe it to you now. Gets up to the line. Game's on the line. I'm not saying the season's on the line, but it feels like it for him in that moment with that crowd, with that environment, 7-yard line. It's all on him. And you know what Penn State does? Because Penn State has 0 fucks left to give.
They go house.
8-man pressure, Steve. They sent 8. 8. So he knows he's going to get killed. And as he's getting ready to release this ball, he's got to make sure he sees the receiver, knows exactly where he's got to place it. But guess what? Cooper was perfectly covered on that play. There's only one throw that gives Cooper the chance to make the best catch of the year. And it's the one that Mendoza made. And Mendoza made this throw with 2 defenders coming in like this.
He got killed.
Absolutely smoked. But he hung in there, and he made that throw. And we talk about onions on this show a lot and how important onions are for that position if you're going to succeed in the NFL. And my goodness, He is onions plus.
Yeah. Both Penn State and Iowa tried to heat him up at big points in the game, and he beat Iowa with a touchdown pass to Surratt, who had a great play. His receivers are making great plays, don't get me wrong, but you got to make that throw. He beat Iowa with a throw right in the face of pressure, and he beat Penn State now with a throw right in the face of pressure. Teams, if you're looking at them going forward, you might want to rethink about heating them up.
No, what I'm doing against him is I'm 3-man rushing him. I'm dropping 8.
Exactly.
And I'm making him read defenses with his eyes up.
Yes.
The pressure will get there when it gets there, if it gets there at all. But I'm making him, he can make all the tight throws and all that stuff. I'm making him think and play poised and relax when his first read isn't there and go to his second, go to his third. That's how I'm defending him. I'm not doing the pressure stuff.
You might not stop him, but you'll at least contain him. I'm with you. I think that's the right move.